Hi folks, Chris Martin here with another installment of the After Action Reports from the World Diplomacy Championships held last summer in Chicago at Weaselmoot. In this section, for the fall of 1902, we have some great interaction, and it's lovingly entitled A Dumpster Fire in the Balkans. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like. If you enjoy what I'm doing, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to support more diplomacy videos, you can support me on Patreon. Without any further ado, let's get to the discussion. So in the fall of 1902, I think we had one of the best sets of orders in the Balkans. Like, that fight was so much fun to watch and to replay through. It must have been no fun to live through, right? Like many wars in the Balkans. Not to make light of that. Wow. Yeah, first world privilege there. So, but let's start with that. And at the same time, we have you moving into Scandinavia, sort of more aggressively, going to Skagerrak, and you deciding, Doug, that you're going to not fight to hold Belgium because you couldn't if you can't with everything.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall back to a slightly more defensible position, right?
It was actually more I am giving you Belgium, Nathan Barnes. It was not I'm falling back because I can't hold it.
Okay.
It was no. Like, I want you to have this.
You went to the Channel. You went to the Mid-Atlantic Ocean.
Right. You need to have this so that you can place your convoy. I'm not in a position to do this because Andrew bounced me in Skagerrak.
Yep.
So you take this so that you're in better position.
Okay.
And that was actually what our conversation was about that time.
And you supported Denmark to hold because you were thinking, oh, this is a thing. They're coming after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I assumed at that point that they were probably going to take Denmark. I was a little surprised that they didn't.
Yeah. Didn't try.
But they didn't try.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about this this whole move thing. This is the turn when Dave, at the end of the moves, like, did he talk to you at the beginning of the season?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly what happened. So, after seeing the spring orders, the jig was up. I was like, I know that I've got a big red target on me, and all three of them are working in concert to take my dots. So I was like, I looked at the board and I was like, what can I actually do to change this at all? So I looked and pretty much I was like, well, I can give Dave 3 supports into Romania, I think. Or I could tap Gal and give him 2 full supports. And I assessed immediately, oh, that's a guarantee, because I just glanced at it real quick, and I was also probably a little hot at this point. So I went to Dave right off and said, hey, you know what, this is ridiculous. I'm going to die anyway. I'll give you 3 supports basically into into Romania. And he was like, interesting. And he's like, I like that plan, but he didn't really say I'll do it. He just said I like the plan. I'm like, I like a lot of freaking plans, right? So at that point, I think Chris and I had a brief discussion where I was like, dude, this RT's just going to roll over me if you keep working with him. Little did I know he was the one orchestrating the whole thing, so that was a useless conversation for me to have, right?
I just enjoyed talking to you.
It was such a pleasant conversation always. I think I had a similar conversation with Andrew about, hey, we can still patch this up, but now he's in Gal. Like, it was just like, I figured Dave was my only shot. And then Dave went and spent the next 14 minutes negotiating, mostly in a threesome with these 2. And then I was like, and I'm sitting there at the table pretty much by myself, because there's no point in me talking to the West, right? So I'm just like watching this whole thing materializing, and there's a lot of like, and then it's like, no, well, let's do this, and then like writing down orders. I'm like, well, I'm screwed, right? So literally I'm thinking, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do that. So I write a whole set of orders, I put them in the box, and all of a sudden Dave comes. Dave says something to you 2. I don't know what happened in the conversation, but Dave clearly hit some level of frustration where he was like, this is ridiculous, I'm going back to the first plan. And he comes beeline over to me with like 20 seconds left on the drop dead timer and says, I'm going with your plan. And I look at Dave, and I look at the box, I'm like, there's nothing I can do. Dave is assuming at that point that I've written those orders, right? So he doesn't see anything awry in me not touching my orders. Right. But I'm like, how could I trust that? So, and that was probably literally the only moment I had to work with Dave. So it would have been great if it worked.
2 additional thoughts on that. I remember our conversation where I was typically, I think, can we work together? And my response was, look, I'm not going to lie to you. This
Yeah,
is
you were
what's
super honest
going
with me.
down. But if either of these guys stab me,
Right.
you're it. Let's go. And
The cheapest of promises. If this other thing that's great doesn't go well, I'll definitely have to.
if you're still alive because one of these guys has screwed me over.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
My first, second, third, and fourth choice don't work.
Right.
You're number 5.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
The irony being that I expected there to be no chance at all.
Right.
And then this
Debacle
thing.
in the Balkans happened.
It's so beautiful.
The other half of that was the conversations between the three of us, which did take about 14 minutes of that time, and started at the level of, this is all going great. We're all going to be best friends, and one of us is going to be world champion. And proceeded to get steadily worse and worse.
What happened? I couldn't figure it out.
Well, we were talking too much about who gets what center, so Dave was worried about which center he would get, and then we would say, well, you can be the mover, and then someone would say, wait, that doesn't work tactically, or Dave would pick up that this move isn't a guarantee, so they're screwing me over, and it really just degenerated from, how do we do this? This is perfect, let's go, to him.
I don't think we can even take an Austrian dot. This is ridiculous.
Pretty much what he said. This whole turn is a waste of time. Stormed off, leaving Chris and me there to finish our conversation, and apparently went back to the board and said,
I'm going with your plan.
So it really was one of the worst three-way negotiations.
Wow.
Somehow all worked out great for
we
Chris.
started with everything, and we finished with nothing.
Nothing. Literally, like if anybody writes a support for an attack on an Austrian center, it works. Right? And almost anything could have worked there.
Oh, I did.
You didn't write a
Literally
support
almost
order,
anything could have worked.
Right?
There was almost no set of orders that could be written that would not have worked to take at least one dot off.
All of your orders were moves, right? Galicia went to Vienna. You were cutting supports. You cut
I cut all the
Vienna. You
supports
cut
with no
Budapest.
upgrades.
He makes Trieste. He's going to cut Serbia. That so it's a lock. You know.
I mean, look at the units. Turkey in Aegean and Ball, Russia in Romania and Gal, and he's in Trieste and Tyrolean. There is no way I should lose 2 dots. Right?
That's right. Yeah, something should go there, but instead, nothing.
Instead, nothing works.
Well, and that really changed your diplomatic course of the game, right? When Dave didn't stick with you there, right?
I love getting stabbed.
I mean, it wasn't even a stab so much as like a futile flailing of fists.
One of my happiest things is getting stabbed. It makes everything else so easy.
Because then you know.
And
All right.
That's actually true, though. At least you know.
no, I'm being sincere. It sounds ridiculous, but that was it. That's the strategy for the rest of my game. Sorted out by being stabbed there. And did anyone else stab me in that game?
I guess
Those two.
I did at one point, right?
Those two.
Yeah.
The 1 dot.
So, Chris, can you talk a little bit about your decision tree here, as you and you come down to Tyrolia to Trieste, which I get, Venice hold, Tunis to Ionian, I also get that, Ionian hold. It's the combination, right? And as a world champion, I want you to let it, because like clearly this was the moment.
People are going to want to do
When you set this up, and when people play Italy now and they think about, okay, what would Chris Brand do?
I want my units to be a strength of 2.
Right.
Yeah. I think my decision tree was apparently on fire at this point. I have no idea what I was doing. Yeah. Did I talk to you at this point?
No, I mean, I
Then
tried
this
to
thing-
convince you
This
that
must
going
have
with
just been
their
like-
plan was not in your best interest.
We must have just
It
come out of
turns
our
out
three-way
it was
conversation
his
with me
plan.
having no clue what I was supposed to be doing and then therefore doing nothing.
I think all 3 of you left that conversation.
And thinking, holy shit, this is amazing. Looking over there going like, oh my god, I'm gonna have a shot at this. Look at this
I remember
dumpster
sort
fire.
of like, exiting my own dumpster fire and going, at least I'm not those guys.
When Brand put those orders in and they were read, I was floored. And I just remember being so happy about it.
That you have to be very careful about tempo and making sure that you're moving all the time, and this kind of proves that that's not necessarily always the case. I don't think it would by
When presented
design,
with the right
but-
level of incompetence on the board, your own incompetence can also rise.
You only have to be the least incompetent player to win the world championship.
I mean, there was a certain extent that at this point people were like, yeah, and there's some Italian units, but they don't really matter.
There definitely was an element of you being underestimated from then on.
Which didn't hurt me.
I don't think that did hurt you.
Whether it was better than having the senses I could have had, I don't know.
Like, so what would you have done? I mean, obviously, Venice
you
supports.
misordered on purpose at least half the time.
Not Venice, though.
No,
Venice supporting the attack on Trieste.
Not that.
I think
What
I
would
should
Ionian
really
have
support
done?
it too.
Ionian taps Greece. Ionian goes to aid with that.
It was meant to go. It was meant to go to Greece.
Yeah.
Probably with Aegean support, I would imagine, right? I thought I was going down 3 dots that
Yep.
turn.
Yeah,
Right?
No,
Aegean
probably not
supports.
with Aegean support.
Or maybe
It was
you
probably
support
helping.
Union?
I don't know that
Might
I
have
wanted,
even been supporting Eugene.
I don't know that I wanted Dave to grow.
Okay.
That might actually have been deliberate, but I'm honestly I'm speculating at this point. I don't. I'm trying to read my own mind from
Did Eugene
disappeared.
go to Greece?
Aegean supported Khan to Bull
And Bull went
to Romania, thinking it had 2 supports, and not for nothing, it would have worked.
Yeah, I suspect I was supposed to tap Greece in order to
Yeah.
ensure that Bulgaria, Bulgaria went somewhere, right?
Yeah. Oh, so that he couldn't support an attack on
Right,
Bulgaria.
right.
Yeah, okay.
And I think I was not too unhappy if Dave didn't progress very fast. So that one might have been the famous order I have.
I think that was probably,
explanation for.
if I remember correctly, I think that was also something that frustrated Dave, was that he wasn't getting Greece out of it.
Okay.
Because it seemed like an obvious
Right.
guarantee.
Yep. Yeah. It's all right.
So-
Yep.
But I'd offered him Serbia, and he'd said no to that because
Then it's surrounded. He can't support it. He doesn't want to get
and it wasn't
overextended. on
guaranteed,
side
so
of
it didn't
yeah.
sound sincere.
All right.
You know what the fun thing here would be to look at those units and then write all a set of competent orders, not knowing what the Austrian orders are going to be, and see if you got 2 or 3 dots. Because I think it probably is 3.
Yes. I think it's,
Given your orders.
I think it's 3, even not knowing my orders.
And no, they get Trieste and Greece, but not Budapest, because they would have swung at Budapest and Trieste and Greece.
I think this sort of scenario can only happen on a top level. Like, this group of people has 1,000 names played.
Right.
And there's so much, okay, there's like 6 layers deep. You're thinking, it's the only justification for that. Because
Right.
then people go like, okay,
You're saying they're playing 12th dimensional chess?
yes,
I think
exactly.
there's no justification for that.
To have contorted yourself to the fact that you couldn't take any Austrian podcast situation.
You can see what happened on that board, but what about the other 2 boards that were running simultaneously?
The parallel dimension.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And our next report will be breaking into the spring of 1903. Until then, I'm Chris Martin, and I'll stab you soon.